Alright, hi. I just figured I'd make a video like this because when I was first starting HRT, there wasn't really any videos like this for me to probably learn from. There is like two, but they're very short. They don't really go in depth. They don't tell you exactly where you need to go or anything like that. So here's how I do my SubQ injections. I do estrogen, but this is the exact same process if you're using testosterone. Make sure that you have proper dosing. So first off, I need to have everything that I use set out. First and most obvious one is the actual HRT itself. Then I have a disposable needle. I got this on Amazon. I will link the exact one I use on Amazon below, but it's just a 1 milliliter syringe. I have two needles. One of them is uh, a 25 gauge, 25 gauge for actual injecting. The larger the gauge, the smaller the needle. So 25 gauge is much smaller for injecting. And the other one here is a 21 gauge, which is a bit larger for drawing. Having a larger needle for drawing makes it easier to pull out the stuff without getting any unnecessary air bubbles. And you're going to need to change needles anyways in between drawing and injecting, so you may as well have large ones, small ones. Once again, I will link these Amazon links in the description. Amazon links may go away, but really easy to find. Each 100 pieces. In the drawing, I believe you can do the drawing as like a 20 gauge or something. Either works. Next, a little sterile alcohol prep pad. Once again, it's very basic. You can get it anywhere you get Amazon, really easy searching. I'm not going to bother to link this in the description because, I mean, you just find those really easily everywhere, and it's not a specific thing. Same thing for my Band-Aid. You don't need a bandage, like a specific injection bandage. I specifically like little square ones made for going over injections for like for this or for like vaccines or whatever. But you just use just a regular Band-Aid if you want. There's not always blood, but there's sometimes maybe just a little bit. And the most important part is a sharps container. You can get this on Amazon for like $5. It lasts forever because you just put the needle in there. You don't put the entire syringe. I've been on HRT for 6 months and I have this, and there's like barely anything in there. I'll be able to use this for well over multiple years if I choose to. If you don't want to get one of these, or if you are not able to, then getting a just like hard plastic container, like a milk jug or there's some like hard kitty litter containers. That'll be just as fine. It'll be a little more difficult to take off the needles and put them in there. You may need like some pliers to do that. For this, it has this little hole right here where I can slot in and pull it out. But, if you don't want to spend the money on something like this, that's fine. And for actually disposing of this once it gets full, most places have places that you can just go and dispose them for free anonymously, and that's really that. Um, it You can just Google local areas near you where you can throw away a sharps container. So I have all my things set out, and then the next part that's really important is knowing where you're going to inject. So for SubQ, you can do it on your rear. It's very hard to do solo. It is more painless, less likely to bleed. This is pretty painless most of the time, but it's a little bit easier to mess up a little bit, which isn't a big deal. Just be a bit of a prick. If you have someone to help you, then that can be a good way. But if you're doing it yourself, best way is on your stomach. So you gotta go at least 2 inches away from your belly button. So I usually just like to do at least 2 finger lengths away, and I'll go a little bit more just to be safe. Um, you do it on the right side and on the left side. You can also do it below and above, depending on how much space you have. I have a bit extra space, but depending on how much space you have, you can go above or below. and you want to be able to pinch that spot and hold it pinched while you're injecting so it goes into the fat. You'll be fine. You're not going to accidentally inject too deep. I know that's a big fear a lot of people have. Big fear I had when I first started. I was like, oh my god, what if I inject too deep and I like puncture my intestine? That's not going to happen. You'll be fine. But you do that, and you want to alternate between your injections. So with my specific uh, type I inject once every week. Basically what I do is I go on the right side, bottom, left side, bottom, then I do right side, top, left side, top. Because if you just do it in the same place over and over, it's more likely to scar up, and it's more likely to make your future injections not be as good, and it can also might start to hurt because you might inject it and it'll intersect with your old injection path while that's still healing. So the first thing I do is you have your thing. Mine's pretty low, but that's okay. I'm going to take my prep wipe, and I'm going to wipe the top of that, just get any loose debris that may be on there out of the way, so that does not get inside my syringe. I'm just going to set this down right here. Depending on your brand of prep pad that you use, it may stay wet for the entire thing, and you'll be able to use the same one to wipe the area that you're going to inject. Some brands, they dry out just like that in like 10 seconds. So if you have a brand that dries out, then get out two prep pads. It's just sort of, when you first get it, open one up, see if it dries out in like 10 seconds or if it takes like a full minute or two. Also, make sure to wash your hands before this. It's also best to wear some type of sterile gloves, but I am lazy and broke, so that's fine. Then I'm going to open, so I have my syringe, and this is my drawing needle, the larger one. I open it partway down, so I'm not actually touching anything. Go in there, and I get it on. I'm just going to pop that off. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw back a good little bit past your actual dosage. For me, my dosage is going to be 0.13 milliliters. I'm drawing back to 0.2 and the reason you draw back is so you can get air in the syringe. So you put it in, you flip it upside down, and you push that air in. Because if you don't do that, over time, the more you use this, you're going to be taking out that liquid, but there's not going to be any air going back into it. It's going to create a vacuum, and it's going to become very dangerous. So then I'm just going to have it tilted at an angle, and you can pull out actually the needle a little bit, so it's a little lower. So if you're getting towards the end like I am, I'm going to draw not just to my dose. I'm going to draw a little past, and it's not going to go all the way in there. There's going to be some air. Sometimes you'll get where it just goes straight all the way in there. Sometimes there's some air. That's fine. You just push it back in, and then you slowly draw it back out. That should be good. So I should have 0.13. I'm going to draw to 0.15 because you lose a little bit both when you are pushing it out to the new needle and also when you are injecting. There's going to be just a tiny bit left in the cap of the needle. So now I'm going to draw back to get everything that's in the cap of the needle out, and then I'm going to go into my sharps container. I'm going to take off my drawing needle. And again, if you don't have a sharps container with a specific slot for that, you just use pliers to take it off, or any other kind of thing that works for you. Next is the injection needle. Same process as before. I'm going to open it part way, stick the tip in right there, pull it out, take it off, and when you take it off, you hold your fingertips around the little bottom like that. You're going to try to pull it straight up. You're going to try not to tap the actual needle with this plastic cover, because if you do, and it can bend it, and that can make your injection hurt. It's fighting me a little bit. There we go. It's fine if you tap it a little bit. So unless you tap it really hard, it's not going to actually really affect you, but it's just something to be conscious of. Then I'm going to hold it straight up. I'm going to push it forward until the air bubble, and there's gone. There may be just a teensy little air bubble in there. That's okay. That's not going to inject. And if it does inject that tiny little bit, it's fine. This isn't going straight into a vein. If it was going to a vein, that would be a problem, but it's not, so it's fine. The worst that will happen is it'll cause just like a little bit of leakage, like some of the oils that carry the HRT will leak back out a little bit, but when you do the injection, you're going to immediately apply the alcohol pad right back on the injection spot, so that's completely fine. So next, I'm going to get here, get my spot. I'm going to set this down. I'm going to set it down so it's like propped up kind of right here, so the needle is not touching anything, only air. And get my spot. It's very cold. It's winter right now. It's like freezing outside. I'm going to rub it with a prep pad. I'm going to keep it pinched so that there's a little bit more area. And when you inject it in, you're going to notice the needle has like a slant on it a little bit. You're going to have the side that you can see the hole from facing upwards. I don't know why exactly. I did research into a lot of stuff, but not that. But you just want to do that. Then you just push it in to your spot and you slowly push down the plunger until it's all the way down. And then you keep it there for 5 seconds. You take it out. You put the alcohol pad there. And then you just need to get your bandage. You put that bandage on that spot. You keep it in for 5 seconds, because after you inject it, it's going to take a second for the oils that carry all of the actual estradiol or testosterone into your actual like fat and muscles and whatever. So if you inject it and immediately pull it out, it's all going to come flowing out of that hole. And basically, you're not going to get as much as you dosed out, because a bunch is going to come right back out. It's also just going to feel really gross. You put a little band-aid on. And then, remember, needle goes into the sharps pen. Make sure 100% you have some sort of sharps container, hard plastic container, to put your needles in. Then, take everything else, all the plastic and wrapping, and just throw that away. So make sure you have a trash can right near you as well. I'm going to go ahead and throw that away, my trash can right here. Whoop. I'm going to take my vial, put it back in its little container, because I have a little container. It's fine if you don't, it's just a little fancy thing. And then I'm done. And I don't need to do that again until my next set time, which is 1 week from now. But that is a more in-depth guide on how to do a subcutaneous HRT injection. I remember when I first started, since I do DIY, when I first started 6 months ago, there just wasn't really any good videos on how to do it. There were some videos from like a doctor's perspective, and it didn't go super in depth on stuff. And the one video that was specifically for people doing HRT, it was like a minute long, and not everything was really explained, and I was still really nervous. And so when I first started, I messed a lot of stuff up. I didn't mess up bad, but I was just sort of, it was a little tough for me. So I hope this is actually a good resource that's helpful. It'll help you do your injections and become the true you and feel more comfortable in your own skin.